What's up, Airsofters? Welcome to episode 158 of NSRT. Yes, I stole Matt's tagline. Sorry, you'll have to just deal with it. This is the show where we have two tables separated by 8 feet, or something like that. We're going to be back in the studio next week, though. Matt and I are both next month. Sorry, Matt and I are fully vaccinated. We're just going to stay outside today because our studio is not ready to film, but we're ready to answer your questions.
Yeah, I'm ready for the mind control and all of the good 5G reception I'm going to be getting.
Yeah, I just mad I didn't grow anything.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't grow anything?
No.
Oh, neither did I. Well, guys, you know how the show concept works. You guys submit questions in the comment section from previous videos. Those go into our helms, which will soon be one helm again of reasoning. And then we do our best to answer them. So, we're going to do a little bit of a rapid fire episode today. We're going to try to get as many questions as we can.
Oh, we are?
We're happy.
News
I'm
to
just
me.
telling George, we're doing a rapid fire,
All right, I just found out.
So there you go. We're going to answer as many as we can in 30 minutes. Here we go. Starting it off with Jed Bedrock. What a great name. This is from last episode, and he asked last month. So this is one of those repeat questions that we tell you guys to repeat in the last episode. So that works out. Hello, Insert. Recently, I have started to get into Speedsoft. I noticed that Speedsofters tend to pick on the new people who use rentals. So my question is, what field are you playing at?
Yeah, what field are you playing
So my question is, why do they pick on rentals when I've seen a lot more older and more seasoned players be jerks and blatant cheaters? So he's asking why he sees Speedsofters go after new people with rentals when they could easily go after older, more seasoned players who are jerks and blatant cheaters.
That's a very confusing question, but I think in terms of why, I don't think it's specific to Speedsofters. I think there's just some people who, when they get advanced in the airsoft, want to just destroy people.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was the same thing with paintball as well. It's been a thing for a long, actually, think of anything, video games. There's just people who want to pick on weaker players of some kind. Right. It's sadly kind of, I think, a human nature thing.
I mean, it's the same thing we see in video games.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everyone likes to bang on the noobs.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to, roll the noob team.
Yeah.
So Airsoft is no different.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I have not personally seen, like, the Speedsoft community in SoCal likes to play against each other more than anything than playing against rental people and beating up on them. Yeah. That's not to say that things that have been, bad, videos of mag dumping has not existed in SoCal. Right. It definitely has.
Right.
It's a shame, but.
I think a pretty equal comparison would be, this is gonna be so bad. I love you HPA guys, okay? I love you HPA guys. You guys are awesome. However, why is it I get so many fields when I ask them about, how's HPA going, how are the rules? And HPA guys don't want to play against other HPA players. They want to play against everybody else. And the minute you try to make HPA only games, all of a sudden nobody attends. It almost feels like HPA people only want to go up against AEG people because they know it hurts and they don't want to be shot back at. Just an observation. I love you, HPA guys.
I mean, when SC Village instituted the HPA rules, or they had HPA only games, they were saying they were having problems players playing against each other. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know, but to those players who do that, I would just try to discourage people from doing that, and that's all you really can do.
If the whole idea is to build your skill set and try to get better at Airsoft, it doesn't serve you any purpose to just play against new players all the time with rental guns. Play against somebody who challenges you, play against somebody who's difficult to beat. Spend the time losing, getting your butt kicked, and you might learn how to clear a corner better or be more efficient or work with your team. Anyway, let's move on. That's enough of that. I love Airsofters of all types.
All right, Jonathan Laprade. I think I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I am sorry. Howdy, Evike folks. The East Coast US is quite lacking in the walk-in airsoft store department, especially after the competitor in Richmond closed. Have you all thought about expanding to the East Coast anytime in the distant future?
It's a good question.
It is a good question. In terms of not giving away things, yes, there are plans to put outposts in other key markets.
Other states that are in need of some airsoft support.
Yeah, and we're definitely looking at the East Coast in terms of different areas of what we want to achieve and stuff like that. And then also on the online side, we're trying to expand our Dallas operation to be bigger, to be able to get you packages faster. But we have learned that people like to touch and feel and experience airsoft in their hands.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I mean, I feel like, you know, based on our personal experience, there's no exception for
no, there
being
isn't.
able to,
Like you can look
know,
online, but you know sometimes like photos or you know when we take some very good photos in terms of giving the best possible representation of the real thing that we can, but it's a photo, not.
Especially look at every time we give advice, every time somebody like writes us a an email or question or comment that's like, oh, you know, what do you guys think about such and such a vest, or what should I start with, you know, so on and so forth. And our advice is always, you know, you should choose what fits best, or what you're most comfortable with, and that only works if you can hold it and touch it. So yeah, so we are working on things. We're always planning.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, all right,
I can't really. I don't want to get into the details of states.
What I can say is you guys should always stay tuned to our social media. That's where we put up all of our announcements. Anytime something exciting happens here at Evike.com, you guys are the first to know. We post it on Instagram and Facebook, and we usually do a video on YouTube.
Usually.
Yeah, usually. All right, Robert Cox with an X. Hi, Evike Matt. I have a question. It's a good thing you typed it out. How do you feel about recce rolls in Milsim, and what kind of loadout would you choose? I apologize. How is a recce roll different from
Reconnaissance?
a lone wolf or sniper?
I mean,
in airsoft specifically.
You could theoretically have like a recce squad or something like that. And in terms of what events this would be applicable to, it would probably be more of an immersion type of event like Milsim West.
Okay, got it.
Does that help you answer the question?
Yes. So I imagine recce teams, or recce units in the real world function as kind of the eyes and ears at the front of the main battle force, right? And those are more effective because they're able to communicate information that's not known by the main battle force until they get into whatever location they're going to. Now in airsoft, that would be effective as long as you had a central communication hub, and you had an effective way to communicate any information that you had as a recce team back to some sort of command structure that could then use that information to move other fire teams around, to take certain objectives. I think you probably see that most often in well-organized Milsim games that have a specific objective structure, or they're controlling the forces to do land grabs and things like that. Milsim West and American Milsim are two companies that do that a lot, and they really focus on good communication. So I think you'd find best use there. And in terms of a recce team, like for their weaponry, I wouldn't say that it was any different from a DMR role. You might want to have a rifleman with you for a little closer engagements, maybe something that had a little bit more range on it. But ultimately, in recce, I would imagine, since you're just doing reconnaissance, you shouldn't be really engaging the enemy until you provide information and get caught up with by other units, right? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I was not in the military, so I don't know how that actually works. Jet would be a better person to answer this, I think.
He's not here.
If you have additional questions about electrical tape or anything else.
That was so funny.
Anyway, yeah, so I guess,
right.
Yeah, sorry, that's a terrible answer. I don't know what I would choose for a loadout. Something that blends in better than anybody else on the field, like a ghillie suit or something.
Yeah, lightweight too.
Something that super blends into the surroundings, something super lightweight. I wouldn't do a whole vest, maybe just do a chest rig. Yeah. A super light. I'd use like a polymer receiver gun, something that you can like throw around. I don't know. There you go.
Just Sky Games ask, dear good nights. I guess we're knights.
Like good nights with a K?
Yes.
I don't know why that meant K.
Yeah.
This is the French. We've got our fingers.
Of the not so round table.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, we should make that into a patch. Knights of the not so round table.
Does your barrel length really influence accuracy and reach of your BBs, or is it just a myth? I mean, I don't know. 455 millimeter inner barrel.
Yeah.
Really does shoot farther than a 363 M4 barrel.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so I think this has kind of more to do with volume than it does barrel length per se.
Okay.
There's a relationship between the volume in your cylinder as the piston's being compressed and the volume of the barrel. So if you have a much shorter barrel than there is volume in it that would be in your cylinder, you're over voluming the BB, and you're not using all of the air to propel the BB. So you're losing power, you know, by air coming out the end before the BB's reached the furthest that amount of air could act on the BB.
Yeah, that's where you get into ported cylinders.
Right, that's where you get into ported cylinders. So I think all things being equal, if you were using the same plain Jane hop-up unit, you are going to get more distance out of a longer barrel, because if you're matching a full cylinder of air with the amount of volume in that barrel, that gives you more time for that air to act on the BB, thus propelling it farther. Of course, that's with a, you know, non-ported cylinder where you haven't volume matched the, you know, as long as it's a full cylinder with a full length barrel, you're gonna get the maximum amount of distance on a base hop-up unit. Now, once you start getting into ported cylinders and proper volume matching and better modern hop-up units like R-hops, flat hops, and things like that, that becomes less of a noticeable difference. You can get incredible performance out of shorter barrels simply by using a better hop-up system.
And the correct cylinder.
And a correct cylinder, right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ryan, did I get that right? For those of you that don't know, Ryan and Mason are here with us today, and Ryan's behind the camera. Hi, Mason.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that completely in terms, I forgot about ported cylinders for a moment, but you are right.
But that's also had, like I had an Instagram question for the AMA last week that was like, oh, what is joule creep? And in the 15 seconds I had to try to explain it, that's what I wanted to explain is like, oh, well, if you have more volume in the cylinder than you have in the barrel, then you potentially have more air to act on a heavier BB, and that's how you get better joule ratings. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So there you go. I had a question before we move on to the next question. Would you guys like us to incorporate Ryan or Mason or whoever was behind the camera into the conversation? Should we give them a mic, and even though you can't see them, have them participate in answering the questions as well? That would be weird. It's kind of this omniscient person answering, but let us know. All right, moving on.
Ryan's just sitting there just going,
He's nodding profusely. You know, I get all my tech advice from Valley River Arms. Just kidding. I get all my tech advice.
Does your Instagram page even exist anymore? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I get all my tech advice from the guys who assemble our Evike Performance Shop series of guns. They did all my work. Thank you, Spencer. Spicy Grapes, Spicy_Grapes asks, is it better to have a large collection with many guns that you rotate around, or just one or two to focus on? I fall victim to accidentally increasing the size of my collection. Wink, wink. Spicy Grapes actually put in the wink, wink and the quotes for accidentally. Fantastic question. It is a great question because you and I both suffer from the accidental additions to the armory.
Yeah, it's the thing is it's actually gotten worse, where it's a sense that I'm now gotten to the point where I'm expanding things, but everything has to be at the same quality bar. So then it gets really expensive really fast. So I did start like at least doing my own shimming and teching again. You know, I don't have Valley River Arms to help me out anymore. So
yeah.
But yeah, no. So everything has to be on par with the gun before it. So that's a challenge.
Well, the frustrating thing is too, once you've seen the good life and you like fully upgrade a gun, and then you go back to, you know, factory guns, which are fine, you know, like out of the box platforms across the board in Airsoft are good. It's just once you've spent $800+ on a full custom, and then you get something brand new and you're like, oh man, I gotta rip everything out of this. It becomes expensive. I would say for me,
next week. Or
don't worry, guys. Next month, this will no longer be a problem.
Next month.
And then we'll have this really dark studio again that looks foreboding. All right, so I'd say for me, I like to have like certain lengths for like certain jobs, I guess. Like I use my Mark 18, my M27, my 417, and I realize that I have 3 outdoor guns now. They're all outdoor guns. And then I've got a couple indoor guns that are slimmer, smaller profile. I don't think the 416 really falls into that category, but it's my indoor gun. But yeah, I like to have a couple. And realistically, you pick things up kind of over the years, and I don't like getting rid of things, and really they're not worth all that much to sell aftermarket, so these kind of remain in the collection. But I don't think it's a negative thing to just kind of accidentally add things, because ultimately a huge part of airsoft is collecting, right? It's just like, using different, I don't know, it's collecting. Collect them. Yeah.
I mean, I like collections. I think, I mean, there are those who have, like, there are some people I know who buy tons, like, we're talking 40, 50 different airsoft guns.
Again.
And then, like, the advantage of that is, like, you always using something new.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that has a fun value to it as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I'll bring up, Jet again. Jet and Leah have this insane collection that takes up their entire garage, right? Like, man, I don't even have, the problem I have is, like, I don't have gear that works with a bunch of different platforms. I have M4 gear, so all my magazines have to be kind of M4 related, except for the MP5, which I carry in my pockets.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge, is having a good, some people do the same thing with gear, though. Like, I would say I do the same, I think it's more with gear than with guns.
Well, you gotta have one in every color.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you gotta have a tan loadout, and then you gotta have a green loadout, and then you gotta have a multicam black loadout, because Ryan says it's the new trendy thing, and you better join me or we're not friends anymore, and then you...
You're just trying to get him involved with the conversation.
I'm trying, Ryan. All right, next question.
Upside down.
He's giving us thumbs up.
Miles W asked, this is Marksman Mile 13. Okay, my question is, can you attach rail sections to the little holes of an M4A1 heat shield handguard? The answer to your question is yes.
Yes.
Reference aims, yeah.
That's
I think he's referencing the handguard segment.
That was my note, sorry.
Yeah.
That was for whoever got the question.
Okay,
I was giving us a cheat sheet for the product.
Yes, yes, there is. There is a rail section. It is from AIM Sports that we have. It's for M4, M16, AR-15 handguard segments. The PID, if you search on our website for 28471, you'll find it.
There you go.
And there you go.
Now, there are a couple different lengths. We also offer one from NC Star, which is out of stock currently. But that one's slightly shorter. The AIM one is a little bit longer for fuller sized
Yeah, I used to have one of my old SOP mod. They work great.
Now, question. I've always seen them mounted on the bottom so that someone could put a vertical grip.
Correct.
Could you, in theory,
put it on the top?
Put it on the top?
Yeah.
For like a PEQ box or something?
It depends on if it has a heat shield on the top, like a fake heat shield. If it has a real heat shield, or sorry, if it doesn't have a heat shield, then you could, but I just don't know what you'd put there. Because it's really far forward for you to put a red dot.
What about like a
PEQ?
PEQ?
Yeah, PEQ you could do that. Yeah,
or like another vertical grip for TP.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for toilet paper.
I don't know. All right, well there you go. See, I meant to tell you that I put cheat sheets on.
Oh, it's okay.
And so I'm really screwed up this episode, guys. All right.
It's just too. It's just morning.
Moving along, we've got one from Katakwan. Duct taping accessories to your handguard is the superior way.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed. I think this was in reference to our last episode where we were talking about MP5 accessory rails or something. We referenced some joke about just pipe clamping something to a handguard or I don't know. So I think he was saying that.
Okay, duct tape. Hey, you know what? It does work.
Yeah. All right. I mean, do you want me to do a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Go do a question.
All right.
I don't feel like you should get off that easy.
All right, guys. This one's from the Airsoft Chef. One word. Hi. Add to the question about making video content. What is your opinion on videos that only use their channel for cheating or fight videos? Is it something that pushes new players away, thinking that Airsoft is all about that? Yes.
Yeah, probably.
It's exactly what it does.
I mean, it gets the views. I don't know why it gets the views. I don't know, actually, it's kind of a phenomenon with Airsoft. I don't understand why cheating or trying to expose people cheating is a huge deal.
Yeah.
In terms of there's accidental cheating, meaning so-and-so runs and doesn't feel a hit or whatever, or somebody gets shot in the backpack and they don't hear it, so you're not gonna feel it, or anything like that. And then there's blatant cheating, which is me to you shooting each other and we see BBs bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think there's way too much of, in Airsoft specifically, I think there's way too much of, oh, I shot you first before you shot me. You can't know that. I'm sorry, you just can't know that.
Yeah. Well, that's the difficulty of the honor.
Yeah,
honor
so
system, right?
I mean, if two people go barrel to barrel and they both shoot each other, even if one shoots each other, one shoots faster than the other, I think they both should be out.
Yeah, take
like
it.
that's just like I just don't understand how airsoft has gotten to this thing where it's like about getting kills.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It should be who can die the most.
Huh?
I said really, it should be who can die the most.
I mean,
we should start tallying up like how many times you epically die.
I mean, realistically, like it's just all airsoft really is, in terms of the broad sense, is just like role playing or reenacting something, and then just having the ability to know you actually got shot versus choosing you just fall down when you want to.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something that some people forget.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not blaming anybody specifically. I think there's also, if people want to do something competitive, I'm a very competitive person when it comes to things,
Yeah,
especially
we all like to win.
sports. You know, so like if airsoft is your sport and you want to be competitive, that's fine too.
Yeah.
But like there's different, you know, I just don't understand videos that show fight. Like I don't understand why, first off, why fights happen in airsoft, number one.
Well, I mean, dude, it's an adrenaline game, right? Like we
Yeah,
all get hot.
People, yeah, I mean, I get attitude for sure.
Yeah.
If somebody especially like messes with a friend of mine, I get more than if somebody messes with me.
Yeah.
That definitely is a trigger.
The
for
key
me.
is being able to just like, this is a game, I'm out of here. You know?
Yeah. No.
But
that's something I personally worked on over the years.
Yeah.
So.
Now to answer your question about whether or not that turns off new players, I'd say yes. Try and remember that, you know, airsoft is a hobby and a sport where the player base is constantly being refreshed by the youngest margin in the hobby, right? So as players get older, they transition into, you know, college or doing other things in life. And so airsoft is constantly being refreshed by the lowest age group. And if the lowest age group is potentially interested in joining the sport and hobby, that's more players to join the game. But also, if the first thing that they're exposed to is cheater videos and overshooting and that style of video, of course that's going to turn them off, because the likelihood of them being under 18 and needing their parents' permission to join it, A, might turn the kid off, and B, will certainly turn their parents off from allowing them to do it.
Yeah,
so kind of take that into consideration. If you want more people to get into airsoft, because we get questions every episode that we don't repeat all the time, but we get questions every episode about how to get new players into airsoft.
Yeah, no, it really
Not
comes
by
down to
posting cheater videos.
And also, you know, it comes down to just having a better attitude when you play too. Like, and you guys, it goes from the top down. Like, you guys got to stop yelling at each other from across the field, saying, "Hey, cheater," or "Hey, you know, blank you." You know, like you really, all players need to work on this. All players need to work on this. I don't think there's anybody who hasn't lost their cool ever. You know, and that can happen, but like that's the most important thing to like keep this industry and hobby alive and thriving is new players and retaining those players. Yeah, you gotta have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not gonna play anymore. Yeah, it's that simple. I'm not gonna do something that's not fun.
Well, there you go, our one long-winded answer for this episode.
I'll answer.
Yeah,
there we go. Who cares? This is just reading. David Ball asks, what do you guys recommend for a decent quality / performing out-of-the-box tri-shot shotgun? I'm looking for one of those to use in a Walking Dead zombie Halloween game as a secondary, but because of the game rules say that only shotguns and pistols can hurt zombies.
Simple.
That's a good rule.
Yeah.
I think the Steam shotguns are pretty nice.
Yeah.
They're pretty affordable.
Simple.
They're reliable, and they won't shoot too hard for those poor zombies.
Yeah. Also, zombie games are the most fun ever.
Yes.
I think more fields should start doing themed games with like volunteers playing, like zombies or hostage rescue or something. Like make it like an event, like an escape room, more than just force on force, because that gets tiring. Right?
I think that's actually going to be one of the things in terms of taking the escape room model and trying to implement airsoft and that's how you're going to get more people just public random coming.
Dude, imagine trying to get out of an escape room while you're being shot at. Like a literal escape room.
Yeah. I think
while you're taking fire.
You know what it is I think that maybe some field owners, and we're not, we have partners. Yeah. But we don't control the fields of what they do. Yeah. Maybe it's just a fear of like they know that their customers are going to come in and play force on force every Saturday. Yeah. I think it's something to figure out, though. I think you really got to figure it out. I really think there's huge potential for escape room style, or dam missions or stuff like that, where you can really get people who to try something different, more immersive.
Yeah. And for those games, you should choose a SEMA tri-shot shotgun.
Yes. Caleb Williams asks, "What's up, Evike?"
Hello.
I've been a fan of the show for a long time. I was wondering, what do you think would help Airsoft grow? What is going to get more fields started and more players into Airsoft? We touched on it a little bit.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about fields though.
Yeah.
You know, it's been really interesting with COVID, you know, the pandemic over the last year and a half, because indoor fields have had a harder time when they were growing before, and outdoor fields were having, you know, have now had a really good time because it's a very safe activity to do during COVID. Like, I mean, I think that a lot of people like to go outside, and it's social distanced for the most part. So it was, you know, I think it's just creating the market. Like, I think it's you have to have somebody who's really passionate, who wants to build the market in their area to create the market in their area.
Right.
Like, sadly, I don't think you just go, oh, there's a huge market in Chicago. I need to build a field there.
Right. Well, I think if we've learned anything from, you know, all the companies that we work with, the most successful, the ones with the best kind of customer experience, are businesses that are started by airsofters and not just by business people.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to see a field in your area, try and organize, you know, games in your area.
I think, like, not even being a field owner, like even just being a community leader of, like, okay, I want to organize at my local paintball field this big event that we do every year. Like, I think events are the key to get more players into new areas, because then, you know, it's something to travel to and do is going to get more players.
But like simple events, not full blown.
No, I'm talking about like Bad Blood.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like those kind of events.
Yeah.
Not like, you know, if eventually I hope that a lot of players go graduate to the bigger events. You know, you go to your easier Milsim games or what have you, and you go to your harder Milsim games. One more, Matt's got one more question. Let's do this.
It smells like something.
Sorry.
No, it was the.
It smells like
All
food.
Right. Next up, we've got a question from Kid Blaze 210. Foregrip, adjustable grip, C-grip style, or hand stop. What's your favorite grip or gripping technique?
My default is almost a C-clamp.
Yeah.
Just by nature. However, you need to be able to train yourself to utilize different grips for different purposes.
Oh, sure.
If you run something that is very, like, let's say you run a Mark 18, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that you, it's a short barrel Mark 18.
Yeah.
And you have a PEC box on top, or you have a camera on top, and you have
you're not clamping.
you really can't clamp that comfortably. So do you really want that really stubby vertical grip at that point? No, you want a big vertical grip that you can grab onto.
That's true.
I
never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think, huh?
Well, I end up trying to grab over my PEC box.
I mean, or you have to move your vertical grip back, which means you actually don't really have a true C-clamp.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the C-clamp was, when that became a thing, what you have to remember is it was based around real shooting.
Right.
Number one. And most people who use real ARs don't have an SBR or AR pistol. They have a full-length 16-inch rifle.
Yeah.
So because of that, well, no, anywhere.
Oh.
Most people, I mean, like, unless you pay for the tax stamp, SBRs are expensive, and AR pistols really weren't a thing for a long time.
Right.
So people had big rifles, which you would want to get a big C-clamp out there.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think
if you've ever like held like a long, like let's say you held a Mark 18 and you have a longer vertical grip, if you hold it like this, it's actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
And if you shoot it, you can actually control it pretty well in terms of a real firearm.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like when I started playing Airsoft, because it was mostly indoor, like I found myself gripping the magwell a lot.
That's
like I just do like a magwell grip.
Well, I mean, all right, if you go watch like stuff from the invasion of Iraq or Afghanistan of real combat, you'll see a lot of gripping of the magwell. Yeah. You'll see a lot of full grips on that, because it's not speed shooting. You're shooting volume of fire at like 300 or 400 yards or more. Sometimes, you know, we're talking like maybe even out to 900 or 800. You're not having effective fire at that point. You're just trying to lay down as much covering fire as possible. It's just different.
Yeah. And then I suppose like my favorite grip now is like a short, you know, BCM style or Magpul style, or like the PTS enhanced polymer grip. They're just
something
EPG.
small. I usually just like it to like kind of be like half palm in my hand.
So a vertical grip, but stubby. So it is a hand stop.
Yeah. More of a hand stop than anything.
I can tell you, I dislike angled foregrips immensely.
Yeah, but we don't have in California. We if you want to keep your rifle featureless, you have to use.
I just went without.
You just went without, probably actually better, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
I
don't mind the
angle.
new Magpul ones. The old ones were terrible.
The one that's just the flat rail with the 2 little finger grooves, yeah, it's very nice. I just don't like that cheese wedge that hangs off the bottom on the old.
So yeah, the old one
AFG.
is really uncomfortable. I definitely do not recommend the old one that mounts. The new ones are not too bad.
Yeah.
I use one on my real one. That's fine.
Oh, there you go.
I don't really notice the difference between that and like
without
an
at all.
RBG.
Yeah. Okay.
I really don't notice
wow.
the difference.
All right. Well, how about our last question for the episode? This is the first time in a couple of months that we've gotten through all of the questions, so thanks for sitting through a longer episode. But here we go. Hit us with it. Last
Ultra Clan asked, what is a good budget tracer unit for M4s? I'm starting out with Airsoft, and I'm not familiar with anything. I mean, there's a lot of good affordable ones from Ace Tech, our Gemtech EMG one and our Angel Custom ones that are pretty affordable. They are all 14 millimeter. Pay attention to whatever threads you have for your M4, if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. I don't know why we can't all be a counterclockwise Airsoft world.
We'll get there.
We'll get there eventually.
Just like us pushing Airsoft T-Plug and Deans to the rest of the industry, we're gonna push 14 millimeter negative. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Don't worry, guys. Your best interests are at the forefront of our minds. 14
negative is the most common.
Yeah.
There's only a few brands that don't use 14 negative, and hopefully one day they change that.
We should just change Airsoft to half 28.
Wow.
If you know, you know. All right. I particularly like, you mentioned the Angel Custom. We've got that one now that has the strobe in the front end that kind of looks like a simulated fire, and it's a tracer unit, and a really nice looking mock suppressor. When we first came out with it, it was like the Hive style, and it had like the hexagonal, bee looking thing. I'll be honest, not a huge fan of that personally. But then we came out with the second version of that like a month or two ago. It looks really nice. We've got one on our Noveski. I mean, I can go grab it.
Yeah,
go
right,
grab it.
I personally like the smaller tracer units now.
Yeah.
I really like how tracer units aren't this huge thing hanging off of a gun that you can put this little thing on there.
Yeah.
I don't like to have my tracer unit on my gun during a day game. I like to swap them when it's, unless it looks like a mock suppressor, I maybe will just keep it in a pouch or something.
Fair.
But, I'm actually looking for a new tracer unit right now. Maybe I'll buy one today, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got those EMG.
I want to get one like yours,
I can't remember what it's called. The short one. Yeah. I don't want to say what it really is.
Yeah.
Trying to avoid. Huh? Guardian. Thank you. The EMG Guardian series. Are those back in stock?
I think so. I don't know. I might get one today.
Yeah.
If it's in stock, I'll see.
Yeah. They're good.
If not, I might just rip apart my Ace Tech one and just put it in there because you can. That's the one it's designed for anyway.
That's what I had to do before we even came out with the Guardians, is 3D print a holder for an Ace Tech charger.
Yeah, I was thinking about just literally buying and then just taking apart my Ace Tech today. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's tomorrow's problem or today's problem.
Suffice to say, tracer units have come a long way in the past 5 to 7 years. In the past, most tracer units were powered by AAA batteries, and they had a whole threaded system, and they'd go onto the front of the gun and usually were plastic. Modern tracer units are quite a bit smaller. They use LiPo batteries. They're USB rechargeable, and the prices have come down a little bit from the old TM style that was $105 or something like that. Expect to pay for a decent tracer unit now anywhere between $60 and $80. Anything above that, you're going to get longer battery life or a slightly brighter LED in the tracer or added features, but you can usually get away for about $60 to $75, maybe $80 for a good tracer unit that will thread onto all your stuff. That was an excellent question.
Was.
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode 158 of the Not So Round Table. Hopefully we got to your questions. If we didn't, we would be surprised because that was all there were other questions that I didn't print out and then cut up. So if we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. You're one of the very few we missed. And thank you for submitting your questions. If we didn't get to it, please put it in the comments section of this video so we can get to it next week. We hope you guys are all safe and doing well, and hopefully getting back to work, because we're excited to be back inside soon and filming, so we will have a change of scenery for the next Not So Round Table. From all of us here at Evike.com.
Not So Round Table.
For the Not So Round Table, tables, the nights. Yeah, we'll see you guys later.
See you.